when they define, when all of these standard, when these standard theologians define it, when they talk about the fact that I sent you that essay, you didn't read it.
Yeah, but you said the essay's there, and now we're just saying ADS is there. It's not.
So thank you to Luke for coming on. I know he's wanted to have this conversation for a long time. So before we start, I want to say that the video that I have seen from you is the video where you talked about Raymond Lull. I enjoyed your analysis. I was looking forward to chatting with you. And then after that, I kind of tuned out and lost interest. So I haven't watched the other videos. I don't know. I am familiar with the Uniate position, but I've not watched Jared Goff's conversation with you. So I told you and everybody else that that you are welcome to have the floor, so you can say whatever you want. I'm not afraid of you, and I'm not afraid to discuss whatever topic you want. But I think we're going to talk about divine simplicity. We're going to talk about divine simplicity. So you have the floor.
Okay, and you're gonna answer questions if I give you some questions too.
Sure. I mean, if they're valid,
you're just gonna let if they're valid questions. Who's going to decide that? Where's the moderator? You?
Well, you said you wanted to have a conversation, so we don't need a moderator.
Well, exactly. But you said if they're valid questions. There's no conditional if it's a conversation.
Okay, so go ahead, man. You have the floor. I mean.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, and you're going to interact, or you're just going to let me fall on my face with good points? I'm serious.
Are you trolling, or do you really want to have a talk?
No, I'm not trolling, and don't characterize it that way. Okay, I'll start. Hopefully we'll have some answers as well. Okay, my position here is basically a characterization that has been made against, I'd say, the Catholic Church. I'm not saying there is we're all pristine and everything like that. It's just, here's a claim of and we'll all admit that the Roman Catholic Church has a kind of careful system of, more so than the Eastern Church. You have these pronouncements and everything like that. We have also a history of scholastic thought, which goes into different places than Eastern theology. And, in a higher form of what you'd call magisterial authority, in the sense of the primacy of the See of Rome and all that kind of stuff. So the caricature of ADS, and that's what I claim, it's a caricature.
Okay.
And to claim that it's Catholic dogma, my point is it isn't Catholic dogma. Like, I'm not in a quandary because of your definition of ADS, which is when you cite Thomas and all that stuff, you can cite as much as you want. It's just the definition that you put forward is not the definition that is in any of the scholastic works. Like when we talk about absolute, absolute in relation to what? Divine in relation, in opposition to being a creature. Simplicity in the patristic sense, even the philosophical sense, which is adopted. I'm not saying that's the whole, the whole gist of simplicity on the philosophy. Obviously, I believe points of revelation. We have the Trinity, a 3-in-1 undivided. So there's obviously caveats there when it comes to human speech and what we can utter about the Trinity and about the unity of the nature, right? So my whole thing is that there is simplicity, an Orthodox simplicity, Catholic simplicity, and the dogma is not this caricature of Thomas that collapses all distinction, right? Okay. And because I don't know if it's you or some of your fans, in the comments, and I don't know if you use avatars. Do you want to admit that? Do you use avatars?
No, I don't have time to do that. Do you see the work that I do? Do you think I have time to police all these different things when there's dozens of people who are doing
I know. It's just, exactly. Just ridiculous for me to think that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, in the comments, there's like, if they've read your articles, they're saying like absolute divine simplicity. And this is the impression that they have, is that it collapses the distinction of the person.
Correct. Ultimately, it
yeah.
does.
So yeah, so that's your position. Well, it
Correct.
doesn't, right? And Thomas doesn't collapse the distinction of the person. He's one who professes the
this has been addressed. Okay, so
like
first of all, can I reply here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I have addressed this many times, and the argument is not that Thomas doesn't in many places admit that there's a distinction between nature and person in the Godhead. Of course he does. The argument is that he's inconsistent. It's two different arguments.
Well, then if he's inconsistent, then you're saying the Catholic dogma is inconsistent because it's Thomas.
Well, the Catholic dogma is inconsistent because of the actual dogmatic definitions in Denzinger and other places, which are not synonymous with Aquinas necessarily. But hold on.
Inconsistent. No. You hold on. Inconsistent in interpretation.
No.
You're giving an interpretation that's inconsistent.
No.
Yeah, you are.
No, listen.
Yeah, you are.
Let me finish. So there are multiple people that we can go to who explain what the standard doctrine of. Hold on. Who? Edward Fesser. We could go to Ralph McHenry. We could go to any typical moral theology of the Catholic Church, any dogmatic theology, Ludwig Ott. All these standard.
Right.
Hold on. All of these standard works, when they talk about divine simplicity and what it means, they typically use the Thomistic formulation. Now,
which is what?
My argument when I wrote my essay, how did I argue against divine simplicity? I went to Denzinger. I went to all the places in Roman dogma that talk about divine simplicity.
Divine simplicity. And then your weaponized attribution, which isn't even in the dogma.
It is.
It's your interpretation. It's all in your head, Jay. There is no.
It's not. If it was all in my head, then we wouldn't be making so many converts. But the fact that there was. Listen, you can't control yourself. Control yourself, man. Control yourself.
Look at all the converts.
We're gonna walk through the different dogmas, and I'm gonna make my case.
The amount of converts doesn't prove anything. You could convert them to a false religion. It happened.
Arius, but I'm saying that's why you're mad. Because you can't control yourself. You can't control yourself. Look, you've lost it.
I did not lose it.
The whole chat thinks you can't control yourself. Sorry, so let's.
Well, good.
Yeah,
they're all your guys, and this is going to be.
They're not all my guys. They're not all my guys.
Yeah, they're all your guys. Most of them are your guys. Hey, listen.
You can't reason logically and consistently.
Okay, keep on talking.
So let's.
ADS lies. Go ahead. Black Lives Matter. Go ahead.
I mean, how old are you? How old are you?
No. Are you a troll? Did you ask me to debate to troll me?
You're not debating. You're losing. You can't follow or stay with the argument. Let's talk about the Roman. Bro, I've read Denzinger. Okay, I've read it more than once. Let's go through the definitions of Denzinger. You're not going to do that?
I'm saying you're interpreting. You're putting in your weaponized ADS into all those things. They say divine simplicity.
Yeah, I know what they say. I know that, right? And I'm saying that let's take Edward Fesser. Do you think he's a representative Thomist?
I don't know. I'm not going to say that.
Have you not read the Foremost Thomist?
No, haven't read the Foremost.
So Thomist. You don't have you have nothing to say here at this. What about Ralph McHenry when he talks about divine simplicity?
Okay, Latine locoris.
What about Peter Kreeft? Okay, when all of these standard when these standard theologians define it, when they talk about the fact that the knowledge, you can't even talk, man. You're like a retard. You have serious mental issues.
There you look at you, mocker.
Yeah, I'm mocking you because you're insane, bro.
No, I just said
the whole chat says the debate's over. You've already lost. You can't even talk, man. I invited you on here to say your piece, and you lost. You lost it.
This is what we wanted.
You act like a monkey.
Okay, Jake,
you gonna calm down and have a chat or not?
Jake, are you gonna calm down?
I'm citing you, Thomas. Edward Fesser says exactly what I say about what divine simplicity is. Literally.
I asked you in Latin if you even read it in Latin. and you didn't respond to me in Latin because you don't read it.
So only a Thomist who can read in Latin understands the Roman doctrine of divine simplicity.
No, I never said that.
Okay,
that is a fallacy.
So that's what you're implying. Can I read you? Can I read you Fesser's statement on what it is? Can I read you Edward Fesser, the foremost Thomist doctrine of what he says divine simplicity is in Thomas?
No, I read your quotation from Fesser. It's okay.
It's okay. It's everything that I've been saying.
No. It's okay if you read it. Go ahead.
As I've indicated in earlier posts, the doctrine of divine simplicity is absolutely central to classical theism. To say that God is simple is to say that he is in no way composed of parts. Okay, we all agree there, right? Everybody agrees. Neither material parts nor metaphysical parts, neither form nor matter, substance nor accidents, essence or existence. Right? Now, this is the point where we depart, because John of Damascus says that God's existence is not identical to his essence. There's a distinction. He makes this argument in book 1 of Defense of the Orthodox Faith. It's very important because he follows through that argument into book 3, where he applies.
I agree with both.
Okay, they can't both be true at the same time, because they're two different positions. And when Thomas writes his work on divine,
explain how they're two different.
If you can slow down, I will. Okay, so when Thomas writes his book on divine simplicity and he rejects this argument in John of Damascus, he cites Maimonides, and he says that if John is teaching,
of course he does. That's why I brought up Maimonides.
If John is teaching that there's a real distinction in God, then it would mean that God is composed of substance and accidents. Thomas says, therefore, we know that he's not saying that. The solution to this is that St. John of Damascus does not believe that accidents in God are the same thing as uncreated energies, right? So accidents are not the same thing as...
you're not explaining it.
I am explaining it. I'm telling you what John Damascus says. He says that the uncreated energies are distinct from the essence, and the Thomist misunderstands that and tries to reread John Damascus into being a proponent of Thomistic simplicity when he's not.
Right.
So there we go. So there's two different views. Fine. And in the history of the East, the position of John Damascus becomes normative. Okay, so are you aware of a debate between Barlaam and Gregory Palamas?
Go ahead, say that again.
Are you aware of a debate between St. Gregory Palamas and Barlaam?
Yeah, well, if you watched any of the videos, of course I am.
Okay.
You didn't watch any of the videos.
I said at the beginning of the debate, I didn't watch your videos and I have not followed your stuff.
Right, you're right. I think that's arrogant to ask me on and not even to watch any of the videos. I don't think you're that important. In your mind, I'm all following your stuff, and I haven't. No, I don't think you've always said you're not following my stuff. You should have, if you're going to ask me to debate.
No, you wanted to debate. It's not incumbent upon me to learn everything about your goofy religion. I don't have to. I've already spent my 10 years in Roman Catholicism and Thomism. I don't need to. I've been there, done that.
Oh yeah. You know everything. You're the magisterium unto yourself.
Yeah, that's not going to work here, dude.
Yeah,
so
that's not going to work.
So after St. John of Damascus, this becomes a debate in the East, and for the East, it becomes normative. I'm saying for Orthodox theology, it's normative that we hold to the Palamite position, right?
Yeah, and it's normative that we hold to the Aquinas position in Catholicism.
Okay, so
no, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't. What about the Franciscans who admit the Damascene?
Yeah, they talk about those distinctions as being notional and conceptual and virtual. They're not real.
No, they do not. A formal distinction is not virtual. No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
It's oh Lord, you don't even know what a formal distinction is.
A formal distinction is not an actual metaphysical distinction, right? It's a step beyond. But dude, Scotism is not the position that Rome dogmatized. It's not a real metaphysical distinction in the way Palamas says it.
Well, Palamas is not using this. Palamas is not using Scotitian distinction.
Right.
Neither is the Damascene. That comes along when Don Scotus comes along.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter what Scotus said, because what Rome eventually dogmatized was not the Scotus position. We've been saying this the whole time. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It's still a lie. It's just a perspective.
It's not a lie. It's not a lie because Scotism is not the normative position, nor is it the dogmatic position on what absolute divine simplicity is.
And neither is the Aquinan. Bye.
The absolute divine simplicity defined in the Roman dogmas is absolutely more in line with Aquinas.
It's more in line. Now you're
Correct.
giving room. Thank you much. It's not.
No, because nobody says that every single statement of nobody says that every statement of Thomas Aquinas is part of dogma. If you read Denzinger, there's a whole lot of statements in Denzinger about divine simplicity. And one way that we know that they teach the more Roman Catholic or the more Thomistic view is because they teach the double procession of the Filioque. They don't believe in eternal manifestation. They don't ever talk about the uncreated energies, nor does Scotus, by the way.
Okay, whatever.
No, you don't know what eternal manifestation is. You don't know what that is. Do you know what eternal manifestation is?
Eternal manifestation of the nature?
No. The Orthodox dogma of the Spirit. Do you even know what that is?
Maybe not. Maybe you
No, of course you don't. Of course you don't.
Okay, well then tell me, Jay.
So as you can see, this guy who comes to the table who wants to debate doesn't even know what our positions are. He doesn't even know what the Palamite councils defined when it comes to Senator Blackernay, when it comes to eternal manifestation, which it's only possible to believe in eternal manifestation if you believe in the essence synergy distinction, which he doesn't make this connection. He has no idea what he's talking about.
BS. Your claim is that it's Catholic dogma, absolute Aquinan, absolute divine simplicity. It's not.
It is.
That's my point. Don't go over the place.
The way that Vatican I and the way that multiple places in Denzinger speak of the simplicity of God are in the Thomistic sense.
No. Just the existence of the Franciscan school tells me you're wrong.
It doesn't matter if there's a Franciscan school because that's prior to the later definitions that I'm talking about. I'm talking about Vatican I.
Prove that.
I'm talking about Trent. I have a whole essay that cites nothing but the dogmas, which I don't even think you've read. I sent you that essay. You didn't read it.
Yeah, but you said the essay's there, and now we're just saying ADS is there. It's not. You're
in my argument, in my essay, I cite Vatican I. I cite multiple papers. I cite created. I cite created grace. I cite These are the results of that dogma, and they are that dogma. No, if you read that paper, you would know that.
Interpretational schools
tolerated. That's why our church doesn't have all the crazy retardo mess of your church. That's why we don't have all this nonsense that you have, that you're in communion with.
That's ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous because absolute divine simplicity is the basis of perennialism. Your Vatican II sect teaches perennialism.
Oh, Lord. Now we're going all over the place. It's about ADS being dogma.
Correct. And that's what it leads to.
It isn't dogma.
It is dogma. I show you in my fucking essay.
No. Yeah.
Which you don't even know the basic terms of our position. You've already demonstrated that and admitted that.
You're one guy. You're one guy. No.
It doesn't matter if I'm one guy. None of that matters. All I have to do is cite your dogmas.
No. You don't. Yeah, with your weaponized ADS.
Yeah, because any typical Roman Catholic dogmatician will tell you what I say.
No, a Thomist will.
No, I can cite you other Roman Catholic dogmaticians that will say what I say. Jesuits will say this. Jesuit dogmaticians will say this.
Yeah, what about Franciscans?
It doesn't matter that there was a school of Franciscans prior to Vatican I. Do you understand that Vatican I has a definition of simplicity?
It doesn't have your weaponized one. It's not a
It absolutely does because guess what? The Filioque is part of that. Do you understand that?
No, it isn't.
It is because you don't even understand what eternal manifestation is.
No,
if you understood it, you would know that. The Vatican clarification on the Filioque admits this.
No. But it doesn't.
Have you read the Vatican clarification on the Filioque?
Yes, I have.
Okay, then you would know this because it talks about eternal manifestation. So I don't think you've read it because you would know that.
Right, because manifestations from will and manifestations from nature.
No, it has nothing to do with that.
Okay, it has nothing to do with that.
Right.
Okay. You said it was based on double procession Filioque.
Correct. ADS is the root of that.
That is a heretical Filioque.
No, it's
Nobody
not.
claimed.
It's the way Florence defines it, you retard.
No. You just read the reduction of every filioque as dual source.
I can look at Denzinger right now in Florence and read it to you about the double procession. Would you like me to do that?
Yeah, go ahead, because it's not double procession. It'll say from the Son, but it won't.
It says that the Father and the Son are a co-cause of his hypostasis. Yeah, of course it says that. The Vatican Clarification says that.
That's not double procession. So what does co-cause
Of
mean?
course it's a double procession. That's what the fucking word means.
No. You mean no? There would be two paternal processions if it was co-causal in the sense of double procession. You can be a cause.
It says that the Father and the Son are the co-cause of his hypostasis, dude.
Yeah, but that's then packed with your interpretation,
dude. There's two different churches over this. It's not just my interpretation. I'm representing the Orthodox Church. The Orthodox Church. The Orthodox. Oh, I absolutely do. It's in our liturgy. It's in our liturgy that you have to accept the uncreated energies.
We're not talking about uncreated energy.
That's how we know our dogmas, dude. We sing that you're anathema. And for many centuries, you anathematize, Uniates anathematize Gregory Palamas, and since Vatican II, he's no longer anathematized. Burned. No. ADS is not your weaponized ADS. You just got burnt, dude. The debate's over.
No. Oh, there you go. No, the Franciscan school proves that you're wrong.
Yeah, well, the entire chat agrees that you just got burned. Oh man.
Well, this is the way you set up anything.
No, it's not. It's because you jumped into this and you literally don't know what you're talking about. You literally have no clue about all of our specifics. I could give you a list of. I have a gigantic reading list which you have not read, obviously, or you would know at least some of these things, and you don't. You have a sophomoric level. You have a sophomore level knowledge of these topics. And you're so arrogant that you wanted to come on here and debate.
That's a lie. You don't even know. You haven't seen any of the videos.
I can tell already in this discussion, you didn't even know what eternal manifestation is. It's one of our most important dogmas. You have no idea what you're doing. You're out of your league.
Out of your league. So you're talking about so PhDs who don't know that this is the co-cause filioque does not make Aquinas's ADS. And your weaponized version.
There's a whole book that I'm going to recommend that you read, which you probably won't because you don't read.
You're so.
You're not. This is not going anywhere. All right, we're done. This dude's done.
Oh, there you go.
A retard.
Bye, everybody. I'm not a retard.
You are.
You're very unsure. No, you're not.
No, we won't be speaking again.
Call.